I mean, you can put on the headset if you want. I won't bring you on until after his interview. So. Hang on here. Let me. Probably give them something to look at while I'm talking. There. Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to. Are we in Weston? I should have asked that ahead of time. Or we are in Weston. Okay, we are in Weston at DC Everest Middle School for tonight's Wisconsin Valley Conference, what turns out to be a championship game between the visiting Marshfield Tigers and the home DC Everest Evergreens. Jason Zaleski here. Chris Conley will be along shortly. Welcome to our Wheelers Chevrolet pregame show. We'll hear from Wheelers, as a matter of fact, in just a moment as well. I said conference championship game. Here are the scenarios. Marshfield a half game in front of DC Everest in the Wisconsin Valley Conference standings. This is season finale here on the pitch tonight. A Marshfield win, they are conference champions. A Marshfield tie, they are a tie. Marshfield is still conference champion. DC Everest win is their only path to a conference championship here tonight. It was a Marshfield 4-0 win earlier in the season in Marshfield that had definitely a part to do with these scenarios. You may ask about a tie. DC Everest does have one tie on the season, that occurring just a couple weeks ago at the hands of Wausau West. So tie is possible in this sport, so we'll keep an eye on that. Again, this is our Zaleski Sports Game of the Week here in Weston at DC Everest Area Middle School, and we are moments away from soccer. We'll say minutes away from soccer happening now. There are some special things going on. The field here today, we'll hear about that in over the course of the next 10 minutes or so. One of those things is Coach Luke Kohlross has ordered some blue socks, some commemorative, maybe even call it ceremonial blue socks that are on their way from southern Wisconsin, so we may be just a little bit delayed as we wait for the socks for his players to wear here tonight. And speaking of Coach Luke Kohlross, had a chance to catch up with Coach before today's match, and we'll turn to Coach now for thoughts on tonight's championship game. Evergreens girls soccer coach Luke Kohlross. Coach, tell us about championship. Seeds have already been set, but winner here wins conference championship. What does a conference championship mean to your team?
Yeah, I mean, that's our number one goal. We won one last year, and this would be our 10th overall as a program, and that would be the most of any team in the Valley, and that was kind of something that we set out at the beginning of the year to do. We wanted to be that team, and we wanted to get number 10. So, we've had some setbacks, a lot of setbacks, probably more than any other year that since I've been coaching. And, losing, Jenna Bauman, this conference player of the year for the past 2 seasons, losing her, for the entire season, it's hard to come back from, but our group's been very resilient all year.
Unbelievable, heartbreaking tragedy over the weekend. How have you talked to the girls about that? Is there anything you can do with that coming into tonight's match?
No, we've just tried to be there for each other. Yesterday's practice, we had a counselor, and we sat and talked as a team with the counselor and just tried to process everything. It's unprecedented for this group of girls and even myself to some degree. It's just we're just there for each other, and we're gonna try and be there for each other tonight. And it shows you puts life in perspective in a real hurry, and you just go home and hug your parents and your siblings, and just be grateful for every day.
Marshall got you earlier in the season, so obviously a win today, gets you the win, gets you the conference championship. Think about the game as it unfolds. The first 20-25 minutes, no matter what the scoreboard says, how will people know that things are going according to plan?
It's the beginning of the game is going to be super emotional. We're going to have a moment of silence for Emily and Danny, and I'm already getting emotional here just thinking about that. Sorry. But hopefully once the whistle goes, you just kind of kick into, routine as far as how we usually play, and we'll see.
Coach, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
So as we come back to DC Everest Middle School here, you heard from Coach Colross on the events that took place on Saturday with two DC Everest High School students, and we'll bring Chris Conley into the conversation now to give us a factual news update on what happened over the weekend.
Jason, as you can imagine, I mean, it's the saddest news story that you could imagine. Two DC Everest students, a junior and a senior, were killed in a car crash in Washington County. It happened on Saturday night, and one of them is Emily Lurans. She's a senior, and she's lost her life just a few days short of graduation. She was going to be this year's Everest valedictorian, so if you can imagine, a valedictory address that won't be given. You know, at a time, graduation's supposed to be such a celebration. I mean, these are kids that have been going to school since they were 4 or 5 years old. They're 18 years old now, and for a lot of them, this is just the first big milepost of their lives, and then that time is cut short. Junior Danny Johnson is the other DC Everest student who lost his life in that wreck. Both of the Everest students were passengers in the back seat of a car that was driven by another teenager from Wausau West. There was a driver and front seat passenger who were seriously injured and had to be airlifted from the scene. The report that we'd seen from the Sheriff's Department in Washington County, it's that the driver of the car where the victims were in, the car where the Everest students lost their lives, that made a driving mistake, that came out in front of and didn't wait their turn at a stop sign, crashed by a semi-truck that was hauling cattle, so a truck with a big load. The car was forced down an embankment and overturned, and as you just imagine, it's a time normally in the school year of great celebration that suddenly turned to a time of great sadness. You look across the way, the DC Everest parent and student section, a lot of light blue there. That was Emily's favorite color, and a lot of fans are wearing blue ribbons. And the Everest girls soccer team will play in blue socks, which we understand an Uber driver is speeding them here. In fact, look at that. They've got the light blues on now as they're about to come out onto the pitch.
Yeah, it's, we hear all the time, Chris, that there are things beyond sports, and for sports guys like you and I, that's sometimes tough to understand what those people are saying. I think what happened on Saturday night is exactly what those people are saying.
Yeah, you try and process what is, like we've said, the saddest of news. I mean, you can't imagine a worse news story to have to share with everyone within the Everest community. Just one of the takeaways, none of us are promised tomorrow, that things that you think are ahead of you may not be. And one of the very sad life lessons, if you have a choice between tomorrow and today, pick today, because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Yes, well said, and thank you, Chris, for the news update. We'll have some graphics on the screen here of our starting 11s. I believe that we will have player introductions soon. I know we will also be asked for a moment of silence here soon as well for the events that we're talking about. So we'll listen. Starting lineups now. Okay, so we'll move to starting lineups today. And Chris, I apologize. I should have sent these to you, but there goes Jason doing Jason things again. But I'll have them up on the screen over here. And you and I can take a look together at what we have here. But so for Marshfield, in goal is Peyton Bremer. And on the defensive end, Devin Miller, Samantha Kilty, Mia Preston, and Caitlin Kurth. Midfielders are Presley Franklin, Abby Ugna, and Hayden Berger. And the forwards, Maddie Nikolai, Avery Weister, and Grace Taylor. And as I am saying those things, we'll put those names on the screen, let people digest the starting 11 for the Marshfield Tigers. And we mentioned that 4-0 win over in Marshfield. Coach Colross had talked about a windy day. I did ask Coach Jeff Moulter about that, and he agreed. A windy day, and they had maybe one lucky goal out of that wind.
Well, the wind only bothers you when you come up on the wrong side of the score, but it was blowing a gale. They said it was a 30-mile-per-hour afternoon, and when you have to go into the wind in the second half, it just becomes harder. You feel like you're chasing that goal extra hard. So you change your alignment, you kind of push more players up, and it leaves you vulnerable to goals on the back end, and Everest gave up some of those in the second half.
To Coach Colross's point, the home team gets to decide what direction to start, and so, Marshfield did have an advantage with that being considered. All right, for DC Everest, as their starters are being announced here in front of us, we'll take a look at the starting 11 for Coach Luke Colross today. McKenna Campman in goal. And Chris is going to tell me if I'm saying the names wrong. Defenders are Nina Allen, Aubrey Leigel, Aria Mahomes, and Katie Schultz. And midfielder Kyla Koch, Shizang Lowe, and Zong Shi Lo. Grace Sandquist, Ava Hopper, and Madison Sasma will likely be goal scorers should Everest put together any offensive attack throughout today's match.
You know, obviously in a game like this, you'd love to play from in front and keep an eye on both of the keepers. They are both underclassmen. McKenna Campman's a junior, so she'll be around next year. Everest is going to enjoy good play in goal next season. And Marshfield starts a sophomore, Peyton Bremer, and we'll see if the stage is too big or suits her just fine. Again, both of these teams have had a lot of in-conference success within the season.
Okay,
we are going to have a moment of silence to remember the two lost Everest students before our national anthem. The crowd here at the soccer complex comes to its feet.
At this time, we'd like to observe a moment of silence to remember Emily Buchanan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early eye what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was one of the best national anthems we've heard all year. Going to be warm today. This may be one of the warmer weather games. You know, it's funny, the soccer players were saying the very first week of the season, we were in that warm spell when the season began. Then it got cold again. 81 degrees as we get ready for the opening whistle here. Evergreens wear their black kits with the white numerals and the light blue socks in Emily's memory. Marshfield is in the visiting white kits with the black numerals, orange trim, and black pants.
Chris, I'm glad that you said kit. It's official terminology, especially in England or in Europe.
I got to tell you, all of my soccer lingo is from my older son, who's a soccer nut, a Manchester United fan.
Oh,
and when I started doing some soccer on the radio, very difficult because this is a visual sport. You got to see where the ball is. My son critiqued me and coached me up a little bit, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like we're coming onto the pitch. You've got that, not the field.
Yep. In this match that will happen on the pitch, they are wearing their kits and football.
You know, in the midst of sadness, sometimes sports is kind of the salve that heals us, and we'll see if that's what takes place, if that's how we're feeling over the next hour and a half. I mean, if you dwell on just the incredibly sad news, it can almost be overwhelming. You can drown in it. And to have something to focus on otherwise, this may be a bringing together moment for the Everest community.
Talking to Coach Malter before today's match, Marshfield Tigers skipper terminology. The Marshfield team had put together a condolences card and had given that to these to their competitors now today as well. So everybody very much aware of everything that's happened.
All right, 80 minutes of girls soccer to crown a Wisconsin Valley Conference championship. And as we said earlier in the broadcast, a tie suits Marshfield just fine because Marshfield owns a head-to-head win over DC Everest from earlier in the season. One of the things that's kind of funny about both of these teams, they have losses or ties, matches that were not wins for them, that I think they're kind of kicking themselves for because either would enjoy the extra win if they had it here. Marshfield was beaten by Wisconsin Rapids in conference play, and Rapids is a cut below both of these clubs. The Evergreens not only were beaten by Marshfield over at their place, but they have a 3-3 tie against Wausau West, and West is good, but not near the top of the table this year, so that's a tie that kind of has Everest chasing points in the standings today.
Marshfield in early run.
You know, one of the things you see sometimes when a team can still get what they need with a tie, I mean, sometimes the team is not as aggressive. They'll park the ball out of play, they'll put it over the end line or over the touch line. A lot of times, though, when I see that strategy in use, Marshfield early on looks like they're coming out for a victory today, because a lot of times that strategy backfires. You see it over and over again in every sport. The team that's more aggressive, the team that's on the engine, seems to have a huge advantage as the match goes along.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out here today. Marshfield strategically on the pitch, 4-4-2, or at least on the lineup we were given to us, so just two forwards, whereas DC Everest 4-3-3, so they planned, again, in a starting lineup type of way to have three girls forward of the half line. So on paper, Everest would be more offensively situated, but you're right, Chris. Marshfield's come out with at least with a burst here to start.
Got a goal kick early. We'll come back after a quick break. This is high school soccer on Zaleski Sports.
Welding is about strength. The strength of structures and components, fabrications used to support industries and communities everywhere. The creation of something greater than its separate parts. Welders are creative. Their skills set them apart from the crowd. Start with a problem, feel the heat, make the sparks, become the solution. Manufacturing moves the Midwest and the world. Study welding at North Central Technical College.
All right, and back to live action here at DC Everest Middle School.
Evergreens put together their first run, and Marshfield got a not well struck ball on goal that was gathered in easily by McKenna Kempton. Evergreens here on the far side, edge of the box. Trying to challenge there was Grace Sandquist, and Evergreens still possessed, but further back. Zhangxi Lo. Lo taken down, no whistle. Yeah, you know, in a close competitive game like that, not going to want this decided on penalty kick, so it may be a little rough inside the big box today.
It sure will.
Evergreens will throw in from the near side. You know, even when the teams are about even in skill, and both of these teams have accomplished about as much during the regular season, these matches still tend to have moments of momentum, and whether the team can convert those moments into goals or scoring opportunities, that's going to be one of the factors to look for here. I think both teams have had just about even chances.
Grace Taylor here on the feed from Hayden Berger. It'll result in a Marshfield throw as they have gained field position. Berger to throw. Berger cross and through the box, giving chase Presley Franklin. And Franklin will win and not able to make the turn. Back to Everest.
If you're not familiar with girls soccer, we play two 40-minute halves, so 80 minutes brings us to full time, and here we are in minute number 3. Teams look about even so far, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say. A little surge from Marshfield to start. Everest has equaled it defensively. You mentioned the time, Chris. I should note time on our screen is unofficial. It's there for entertainment purposes only. Keep it as close as we can, though. Long ball. Berger not able to save it, but nice send there for the Tigers.
You know, one of the things that you see, these are regulation-size goals, and a lot of times in girls soccer, it's hard to find a goalkeeper that's just big enough lengthwise to cover from post to post. So you're always worried about those that are going across the mouth. Why don't we step out for a quick 30-second break? We thank our sponsors for allowing this screen-and-screen coverage on Zaleski Sports.
You know better when you see it.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
But sometimes it's a little harder to tell what better looks like, and you could use a little help.
Thanks, Mom.
Security Health Plan. Everything you need in a health plan. Everything you'd expect from a good neighbor.
All right, and back to full screen coverage.
Madison Sazama possesses in the corner. Long run to get that. The Evergreens edge of the box. Lose it there. Maddie tried to bring it in. Marshfield almost turned that over deep in their own end.
Yeah, they almost did. Abby Younger, they were able to sweep that one out of harm's way for the Tigers.
Evergreens on the edge. Shot on goal. Just too tall.
Good look there. That was, I had number 10 there, Grace Sandquist, on the delivery. And, yeah, just a bit too tall. Good look, though, from Sandquist.
Again, you talk here. It's hard to find a goalkeeper in girls' high school soccer who's got the height. Upper corners are areas of vulnerability for almost every keeper. We're sponsored tonight by Nicolay Bank. Nicolay Bank offers personal banking at its best with locations in Wausau, Stevens Point, Colby, Medford, Edgar, and Merrill. Or learn more online, nicolaybank.com.
So for Everest, a chance from Sandquist just moments ago. Katie Schultz. I may have that number wrong there. I think I do. But a chance just moments ago also for the Tigers. So both teams with an eye at the goal once here so far as we play in minute number 7.
Sandquist came up and committed the foul.
Okay, so free kick for Ugna.
One hopped and safely secured by McKenna Campman. It's Marshfield's second shot on goal so far today. Campman has not really been tested, both of them easy chances.
Yeah, the first Campman was able to let go for a goal kick, and that one she had eyes for it the whole way.
Right, Everest with only one shot on goal, but Sandquist got a good rip at it.
It
just
really was.
A little too tall. The most promising chance so far today. We're sponsored by Stone Innovations. They can give you a brand new kitchen in just 1 week. Countertops, backsplashes, flooring, cabinets, everything else in your kitchen. Stone Innovation takes care of all of your needs, from fabrication, design, and installation. For your next kitchen or bathroom, look to Stone Innovations in Plover.
Matter of fact, Chris, I think that Sandquist offering, if that's able to get under the crossbar, I don't think Bremer has any say in it.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was a really, really well-placed ball.
I mean, I'm looking at Bremer right now. She only stands about halfway up when you look at her against the upright.
Right, yeah, 10 foot tall is the crossbar, those wondering at home. So, yeah, you just think of yourself sitting on the couch at home. Could you defend the top of the goal? Probably not.
No, not even in my younger days. Evergreens are going to throw in from the far side here, seeing if they can keep an attack sustained. Again, we talked about, you look for momentum changes. Neither team is able to have sustained looks so far in this match.
No, you're exactly right, and what that means to me is the defense just slightly ahead of the offense here to this point, although that is the game of soccer at times.
I mean, this to me is an interesting match for Marshfield. Look, Everest has just within the program's DNA. They over the last decade, they've been the most successful program for girls soccer in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. If Marshfield would like to join that elite group, well, what do? You got to stack some success, and this is an opportunity to do that today. You got to say, well, what did you do in your conference championship season? Well, we beat Everest, the legacy program in the conference. We beat them twice this year.
Yeah.
That would make Marshfield deserving champions.
Sure, right, yeah, a sweep and a championship was something that not only the seniors on this Marshfield team would talk about for the rest of their foreseeable lives, but perhaps anybody on this team.
We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that over the weekend, the girls' soccer seedings came out. Marshfield bounces down to Division II, and I think that's going to be a huge advantage. They'll host Merrill on Tuesday. The Evergreens, they're just too large of a school. They're always going to be Division I, and on Tuesday they'll have a game here against Chippewa Falls. We're going to step out here as we're going to have a goal kick. We'll be back with more soccer coverage in just a moment on Zaleski
Chris,
Sports.
I was wrong.
Actually,
we're going to award a corner there.
We'll keep it here, right? There's going to be a Marshfield corner. So
Yeah.
as Marshfield gets the set piece, let's stick right here.
Yeah, thank you. I misfired there. It looked like that was going to be a goal kick, but not. Alas, not. Presley Franklin will handle the corner for the Tigers.
See how Marshfield plays this. A lot of air under this, into the small box and into traffic, out of danger for the moment.
As soon as I uncover the number there, I'll congratulate a really nice play by the Everest defender.
Evergreen's trying to one-run that with Ava Hopner. Hopner's only a sophomore, but a lot of quality there. Was going to have to fight her way through two players, and that's tough order.
Katie Schultz there, interrupting that corner for the Evergreens. Really nicely done. Brought her right knee to the ball and escorted it out.
Sandquist has two players to beat from the edge, not well struck, and just kind of rolls across the goal mouth and gathered in there by Peyton Bremer.
Peyton was hoping and / curious if that ball would continue to twist and roll out for a goal kick. It doesn't, and she alertly gets on top of it.
Mentioned before, she's a sophomore. One of the things, it's the toughest decision that a goalie has to get instincts for is when to come off the line and challenge a ball that goes into the box or whether to stay back and defend it and try and stop the shot. Evergreens here on the edge, promising, look, shot, score for the Evergreens! Maddie Sazama gives the Evergreens the early lead, and Everest will play from in front tonight.
Just the touch, that it was so well done, so well executed there for DC Everest.
And we're talking about the instincts of does the goalie come up and challenge, and instead Peyton decided to stay back on her line, and it left a lot of the net open on the near side.
Yeah, it was just so well executed by the Evergreens there. I'm not sure if anybody was going to stop it.
Maddie Sazma gets an assist for the Evergreens. In the 7th minute, they take an early 1-0 lead. I guess the good news for Marshfield, huge amounts of time left in this match.
Yeah. Sazma with the goal. Guys, who was on the assist? Shizhong Lo on the, she 15 there low, able to feed Sazma and just did a spectacular job with it. You know, coaches talk all the time about making that touch pass, just making that extra pass sometimes, and Lowe did all of it there.
Let's thank our game day sponsors, Era Pancakes, Merrill Iron and Steel, and Jamie Schley, American Family Insurance Agency. They've been with us all season at Zaleski Sports. If you see them or give them your business, thank them. High school sports coverage would not be possible without all of our Zaleski Sports sponsors. I've always liked to see what happens in the couple of minutes after a team gives up a goal. Like Marshfield now wants to push forward. You don't want to see a promising season slip away early in the game. Marshfield would love an early answer here.
And we've got a penalty on DC Everest, so a free kick coming up for Marshfield. Couldn't see on that far side who it was, but Tigers will be the benefactor.
Mia Preston's got a strong enough leg. She's going to lift this into the scoring area. Some traffic and goes wide of the far side post. We'll continue with our high school soccer coverage. Everest leads Marshfield 1-0 on Zaleski Sports.
I'm Jamie Schley. As your American Family Insurance agent, I'm looking out for what matters to you, even when nothing is wrong. Give me a call or stop by our new office location, and let's talk about your insurance needs today.
And Chris mentioned those local businesses. Jamie Schley of Schofield would like to hear from you, American family.
Until they see my driving record. Whitetail Properties has sponsored our coverage. For the best in recreational and hunting properties in Wisconsin, call Brian Roush with Whitetail Properties. Brian can tell you how and where to make them a reality. Call 715-213-4468. 715-213-4468 for Whitetail Properties.
That looked like Ava Hopper there with, and it was. It was Hopper with a really good chance. Bremer able to save it, and it's going to result in a corner kick for DC Everest.
Evergreen's first set piece of the night. Grace Sandquist is going to start this from the far side, from the far corner. Our field has greened up so nicely as the weather's gotten warmer, into traffic, out of danger for the time being. Annie Kilbaka came up. Kilbaka came in as a sub during our break, the first time that either of these teams has gone to their bench. Sandquist will have a throw in for the Evergreens. On the edge of the attacking part of the field. Evergreen still possess with a 1-goal lead. This is Sandquist looking to create from the wing. Bumped off that ball. And Sandquist fights to get it back. In traffic just outside the small box. Abigail Agna denied the chance for Marshfield. Got that off to the side.
You know, Chris, you mentioned just moments ago about how a team might respond after a goal is scored on them. It's been DC Everest continuing to push after that goal.
Yeah, Everest has generated more chances after going up 1-0, more than Marshfield has.
Yeah, Marshfield on its heels right now a bit, as 2 subs will come in for DC Everest.
Zhangzia Low is in. Abigail Liga is in too. And you know, when it's one of the warmer games, again, 81 when the opening whistle sounded here, maybe you want to, if you think you've got the quality, you want to substitute freely. And unlimited substitutions in high school soccer, so it's a little bit different than the professional game.
Yeah, and the pros, you come out, you're out.
Right. In traffic just over the crossbar.
Yeah, that was
Caitlin Abil.
Caitlin Abil with another nice look at the Marshfield goal.
Yeah, you know, and at 1-0, you live to fight again. I mean, Marshfield's one good run down the pitch from evening things up. You don't want to go down 2-0. 2-0, in soccer, it's just a different hole to dig yourself out of. So in that sense, a little pressure on the Marshfield Tigers at this stage.
Think back to our Wheelers pregame show. We talked to Coach Lou Colross. I asked Coach what it would, regardless of the scoreboard, how we would know that things are going well, say 20, 25 minutes in. Well, now we can look at the scoreboard and say, well, he's got the 1 goal, and his team is playing with I'd say right now, Chris, they're just a half a step better than Marshfield right now.
Yep.
So Coach getting his way here so far.
Again, loose ball in the box. Marshfield's got to be careful there, and it's cleared out.
Yep, that was Kaylin Kurth doing a nice job there of getting that one out, getting it free. Now Marshfield will reform an attack.
Again, part good and part lucky, too, because you don't want that ball loose. If there happens to be an Evergreen around, that's going to be a shot on goal from pretty close range.
One missed kick there. It'll result in a throw for the Tigers as a sub apiece.
Madison Sazama comes in for the Evergreens. Shiloh Smith, sophomore midfielder, is in for the Tigers. Evergreens have substituted more freely so far in this first half. Ag Country Farm Credit Services is a farmer-owned co-op offering a wide array of custom financing and financial services. Loans and leases, crop insurance, tax and records, they have you covered. Contact Ag Country, Stevens Point, Wausau, Marshfield, and Medford.
Marshfield a little bit too aggressive there. A foul will give the Evergreens a free kick. This will be Kirsten Hall. Another nice job there defensively for Katie Schultz there, able to kind of turn on the Marshfield player, get her body in the way of the ball, and able to take it away.
You know, if you're not an experienced soccer watcher, I mean, you can identify who the fast players are, who the scoring threats are, who's got the moves when the ball's on their foot. The defensive part of the game is underappreciated, and the good teams are all solid on the back end. Evergreens here, a little bumping, and this is going to be a foul just outside the box, but the Evergreens are going to be able to put this ball on goal from this spot.
Yep.
Dangerous moment for the Tigers.
Yep. Shiloh Smith committed the foul. She didn't think that she had any room to give there and thought it best to commit that foul as she dumped Sasma to the ground. And now we'll have, it looks like Sandquist will do the honors of the penalty or the free kick right outside the box, as Chris said.
Marshfield will set up a 3-player wall. Sandquist going to try and play this up high, I think. Nope, hard on the ground, just wide of the far post. Dangerous moment for the Tigers for sure. We'll step out with the Evergreens leading 1-0. We're in the mid-stages of the first half on Zaleski Sports.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
All right, back to full screen coverage here, and Everest again on the move.
Now, one of the things to watch, too, who wins the 50-50 balls? There were a lot of them over the course of a soccer match. Since the Evergreens have gone up 1-0, Evergreens have been fastest to the loose balls, too.
Yeah, I've thought that, Marshfield had that burst, say, the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this match, and since then, DC Everest has been a half step better.
No, that's a good point. Marshfield looked better in the opening moments of this match and has still kind of been off their heels since going down 1-0. Evergreen is trying to create from the wing. Marshfield clears it out. But again, midfield, the Evergreens push their players up and send this to the far side. Long run for Maddie Sazama. Can Maddie center this here? Plays it small for Sandquist. Shot off the goalie's hands and gathered in.
Well, you'll give credit there to Peyton Bremer, no doubt about that. But as we get the jersey turn here, 16 in black, Zhang Xiaolo almost had a point-blank chance there for the Evergreens. That's why you have a keeper, and Peyton Bremer up to the task that time.
One of the things that separates the good keepers is that the balls don't bounce off them. It's like they've got stick-em on them. That
Yeah.
A ball that's near your hands, you've got to gather that in. It's the ball that bounces off of you that becomes a wild card. Sandquist trying to turn on that, didn't strike it particularly well. Sandquist is going to wish that she was able to plant her left foot more solidly to swing the right foot onto that.
And if she could have seen what we did, she had another 1 or 2 seconds yet.
Yeah, we're up high. We're right at the center. We're at the catbird seat.
Oh, yeah.
So things look different from field level.
Yeah, you get anxious. You've got that juicy, tasty goal right there in front of you, and you start thinking about that, and time becomes a fleeting resource.
Since the Evergreens have taken the 1-goal lead, Sandquist has been active.
To say the least.
Grace Taylor had her back turned towards that ball that was coming towards her. Long ball ahead here. Can the Evergreens win the race to this? Shot save!
Right into the breadbasket of Bremer.
And Maddie Sazama had the wheels to beat that defender.
Yeah, she certainly did. She was flying down the field. Chris, you mentioned, the novice soccer fan may not know exactly, some of the nuance or the finer points. Watch, you mentioned those 4 defenders, and both teams have played well defensively. Everest, though, in the midfield right now, has them in position again, able to get that ball in the middle of field. It's self-explanatory, and then push that ball up to their forwards, and that's where Everest has made some hay here over the last 15 minutes.
And since getting the 1-0 lead, Everest has been keeping 4 players back.
Yeah.
So they're packing the defense in, trying to protect the 1-goal lead. And, this game is unlikely to end at 1-0. There's going to be more goals scored between tonight and the final whistle. And yet, even with the 4 defensive players packed back for the Evergreens, they've still been able to generate more offensive chances than Marshfield right now. So Everest has an advantage, but you've got to see when you have the momentum, you've eventually got to convert that into more goals. Evergreens haven't done that yet. And meanwhile, it's been a while since Marshfield has gotten a look at the net down at the other end.
Here we see Lauren Homolka feed up ahead. Turning back with it is Presley Franklin. All the way back it comes to Samantha Kilty. And then Lowe steals it away. No, and taken right back by Grace Taylor. Good battle here in the midfield. We'll get a whistle, and it's going to be a penalty on DC Everest.
That's the right call. Julia Haymauer came out with her arm extended and tried to create separation.
Now, just a real good midfield battle there. I just got done talking about the midfield. This time, Marshfield's midfielders win the battle. This will be Ugna to handle the free kick duties again. A little bit too long for Homolka.
It's the first time since that McKenna Campman has touched the ball in a while. Everest keeper is sure-handed. And she hasn't really been tested. It's Marshfield's third shot on goal, and all of them have been easy chances. Evergreens are going to get that throw in along the far side. We're sponsored by Heartland Farms. No one knows potatoes in Wisconsin quite like Heartland Farms, with roots in Amherst, now based in Hancock, a fifth-generation potato and vegetable farm producing many varieties of chipping potatoes and currently farming 27,000 irrigated acres and growing. Learn more about the best in the potato business at heartland.farm. That's heartland.farm. Ball's lofted ahead, but the Evergreens seem to have a defender back there.
Yep. Katie Schultz had both arms extended, saying this one is going to roll out, stay away, and it does.
With the Evergreens leading 1-0, we're back with more high school soccer coverage on Zaleski Sports after these messages.
We said we're growing, and we are. Come join the Crystal Finishing family. We're looking for experienced industrial maintenance mechanics, CNC fabricators, all driver positions for our freight team, as well as skilled and general production. We know the importance of a work and life balance. Our shift options and flexible schedules set us apart. Our pay ranges from $17 to $43 per hour depending on your skill level. We're proud to be a family-owned company that is committed to our community, team members, and the growth of our business. Call or jump on our website to learn more.
And back to full screen coverage. Chris, you and I talked about this before the match. When we do these picture-in-picture, you always run the risk of something happening that you didn't want to miss. But so far, we're batting 1,000.
Trevor Zaleski, the younger, was my producer in the fall for a boys' soccer match. We were over at Wausau Newman. Yeah. And I believe 3 goals were scored while we were in our picture-in-picture coverage. Just I was really bad at sensing when to take the... And look, they're kids. They move up and down the field quickly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the ball bounces funny. Kids do strange things, and that all adds up sometimes.
Evergreens with a run along the far side, chipped towards the goal, saved there by Peyton Bremer.
Yeah, Bremer handled the Ava Hopper delivery. Short angle chance there, tight angle chance from Hopper.
Yeah, we were told there'd be no math, so there'll certainly be no physics. But the longer you hold the ball towards the end line, your angle diminishes. It becomes a much tougher look when you get towards the boundary. So if you're one of the forwards playing from the wing, you want to let it fly earlier or find a teammate. Just the advantage goes to the keeper the closer you get to the boundary of the pitch. If I was at a whiteboard, I'd draw it out for you, but that would make it even more confusing.
Yeah, we'll resist that urge today.
That went over the touchline. Both teams will put new players in. Cassie Langfoss comes in. And Grace Sandquist, who got a short breather, comes right back out. Again, the Evergreens with the 1-0 lead have the luxury of rotating in.
Yeah, you mentioned Everest, maybe letting one additional kind of lay back here a little bit. It seems to me we're somewhat in this point in the game as Everest beginning to make a move here.
Sandquist I thought was indecisive if she wanted to try and dribble closer or if she wanted to try and let that launch. I think that moment of indecision cost her a chance.
I think we're in that kind of moment of the match here. We'll see if it persists throughout our final 12 minutes here of the first half, but it seems like we're in that moment of the match where both teams kind of know what each other is right now, and they're both just kind of probing, not necessarily dealing right now.
Yeah, this is Sandquist. They've got her covered one-on-one. Shiloh Smith gets pretty tough duty for Marshfield defensively.
Well, and to me, Sandquist seems like, and she'll get the feed here again, this is somebody you want to get some touches here. It looks like somebody that's going to make a difference here today.
Played to the wing, edge of the box, shot is wide. Maybe rushed a little bit. That's Ava Hopner, the sophomore. You know, with so much going on in the Everest school community over the last couple of days, it kind of overshadows that this is senior night. This is the last home game of the regular season for the Everest seniors, and the team probably has its best soccer ahead of it in the next couple of years. This is an underclassmen-based team.
Yeah, and with a key member not being not available all year and still in this position, I think that says a lot about the program as well. And with that key member, hopefully for DC Everest being available next year. Of course, we're talking about Jenna Bauman, a junior this year was Jenna, if I have that right.
Yeah, Jenna Bauman a year ago was one of the elite players in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. You just imagine coaches rolling their eyes after the Evergreens just seem to always have one outstanding player, and they've had it for a couple of years in a row. I mean, Maddie Simpson bossed this conference around for her 4 years at Everest before going off to play college soccer at Auburn. And then look at that, the very next year comes another elite player.
University of Wisconsin, future Badger soccer player, to my understanding. Last year, she was so fun to watch, and we hope we get to watch her next year. Last year, Chris, I'll tell the story that not many people know. It was Everest coming to Marshfield for girls soccer. There was somebody else other than me assigned to that game, and I did what I've only done about 3 or 4 times in the last 24 months. I bumped that person out of the spot so I could call that game. Yeah, it was, and I think she scored 3 goals that game and did what she almost always did. Jenna just faster than everybody else on the soccer field. Smaller than everybody else and faster than everybody else. She said hi to me when I was walking through the field. I thought I would need to say hi to her.
Marshfield's got to make sure they don't turn this ball over here.
Yeah, turn the ball over, and I was about to say, or commit a foul, as Mia Preston, as the words were about to come out of my mouth, had tripped and fallen over the Everest offensive player, but no foul there.
Crystal Finishing Systems is a family-owned business hiring for both their Weston and Mosinee locations. They have openings in manufacturing, fabrication, management, customer service, and more. Join the Crystal Finishing team. Learn more at crystalfinishing.com. We are in a ball retrieval moment here. Now we're ready for a throw-in.
Yeah, here's where those Everest defenders sitting back and waiting have come in handy once again.
Evergreens are going to get a look at the net here. Shot, tipped, and scoring!
Another goal from Sasma.
Maddie Sasma gives the Evergreens a 2-0 lead towards the later stages of the first half.
Well, Chris, you mentioned that second goal. It just happened. And now you think about our pregame talk and our Wheelers pregame show with conference championship scenarios. The only scenario for Everest to claim a conference championship is a win, and here they are up 2-0 late in the first half.
Yeah, I think the time left in this first half has now become important for Marshfield. And we both said, again, 2 different sets of eyes, but we're watching the same game. Since Everest went up 1-0, Everest continued to generate better chances than Marshfield.
Their feet have just been more lively. They've been quicker to the ball. They've made some better passing decisions. And the defenders have been able to get that ball into the midfield, and here goes Everest again.
Yeah, Marshfield is going to feel a lot better if they can get this to 2-1 by halftime rather than sitting on 2-0. So I think the 8 minutes that we have left until intermission are kind of important for the Tigers. Katie Schulz, who has been good on the defensive end, gets an assist. Substitute coming in for the Evergreens. Olivia Gertz comes in. Zhongjia Lo Jr. comes out.
It's confirming our time, and it looks like our time on screen now matches up within a couple of seconds of what's in the stadium here. Chris, we have no view of the game clock, so we're guessing a little bit at times.
Right, the scoreboard is mounted directly underneath our broadcast position. So we've got to be friendly with the other personnel here.
Yeah, friendly or good, but good won't help. Clock is an exact science, as it turns out.
So the Evergreens trying to avenge an earlier loss to Marshfield. And the Evergreens, I mean, they just don't get blown out by other conference teams. And the game over in Marshfield on a windy, kind of miserable day was a blowout.
Yeah, 4-0 in soccer terms. I'll relate it to football fans. That's a 31-0 type of deal. That's all one way on the scoreboard.
And why I think this game is important for both teams. Of course, you want to be able to claim conference championships. But these teams, here's a run for the Evergreens on the far side. Shot, gathered in. That's a big save by Peyton Bremer. Can't afford to give up another one here. Yeah. Low and hard, scooped it up on one hop.
Yeah, Hopper, we're stopping the clock here. So as we do, we'll head to commercial. I'll explain more about what Hopper did there when we come back.
When the last thing you need to happen does. One of our 16 mobile service trucks from Sherrill Tire and Service Center can keep you rolling and growing. Sherrill Tire and Service Center, your locally owned farm tire specialist.
Sherrill Tire and Service, keep growing and rolling with us.
Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
So what Ava Hopper did there is Ava's going to come off, it looks like, for the final few minutes as she gets ready to rest a little extra before halftime. Completely threw on the brakes as she came in the box. Just a fantastic move there. Dug her cleats right into the turf, and then launched. And as Chris said, Bremer just happened to be exactly where she needed to be.
You know, both of these teams have losses out of conference. Both of them have 5 defeats, and both of them have played elite schedules. The Evergreens, year after year, travel all over the state to play some of the best teams. They'll go and play Eau Claire Memorial, a team that they beat in their last out-of-conference match. But these teams have lost when they've played the very best elsewhere. So a conference title may be the ceiling for both of these teams. This may be the banner that either of these teams is going to hang based on the result over the next couple of minutes and then second half.
So being chased down by Cassie Langfoos. And she is going to lose that chase. Goal kick coming up for DC Everest. We'll keep it full screen here for the remainder of this half.
We've talked about for the Evergreens what a force Sandquist has been. And even though she's not a goal scorer today, because she has to be accounted for, she frees up opportunities for teammates.
Just kind of sucks the air out of the radius that she's in and brings those Marshfield defenders just a little bit off of their mark. And as that has happened, that's, in this case, today has freed up Sasma twice, or helped to anyway.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the challenges for Marshfield, because I don't think they've played particularly well in this first half. You know, I can identify who the elite players are for Everest. Sandquist, Sasma's got 2 goals, so of course she's on the list. But tell me who are the elite Marshfield players? They haven't been able to isolate and give their best players the best chances here in the first half.
Yeah, you mentioned in those 2, they've broken away from the pack as far as who's in the blue socks out there, but in the white tops, nobody has broken away from the pack. Real long ball there. Marshfield, though, defensively able to gather.
Yep. Julia Haymauer is fast, but not fast enough to run that down. We're sponsored by Camping World of Rothschild, just off I-39, with a huge inventory of new and used RVs, travel trailers, fifth wheels, and campers. Do I see that we have a 3-day weekend coming up? Service, repairs, and maintenance to keep your next vacation getaway running smooth. Treat yourself to memories that will last a lifetime. Camping World, I-39 Rothschild.
Langfos doing a nice job here on the south side just to kind of melt some clock as all the momentum still with DC Everest here. And you had mentioned Marshfield would like to score a goal before the half. They still would, Chris, but at this point with just a few minutes left before halftime, Coach Malterer, though, would also take the 2-0 result here and regroup at halftime.
Yeah, you know what? Everest does not seem like the kind of team that's going to give up a 3-goal lead, which is why Marshfield can't go down any further than this.
No, and then conversely here, as we run off these final couple minutes of the half, DC Everest continues playing like they have been, taking some long ball chances, trying to feed it through, and that's continued to put Marshfield on its heels.
Yeah, Everest has played more of a long game, that they've got some players that they're trying to set up with long runs. Marshfield's been trying to string together a series of shorter passes and just hasn't been as successful in their approach so far.
We're in progress with that right now.
And there again, one good pass and then a bad one. Avery Mahomes took that away for the Evergreens. Here's Sandquist towards the middle of the pitch.
I believe we're in the 38th minute. Again, the time on our screen is unofficial, so a little bit somewhere along the lines of 2.5 minutes left here in this first half.
Zhangxia Lo lost it. Again, the Evergreens just gobble up those loose balls. Right back on the attack. Sandquist, shot, scores. Sandquist from about 10 yards outside the big box.
Wow.
And there's the goal that Marshfield just could not afford to give up. The Evergreens will be up 3-0 in the late stages of the first half. Sandquist well struck and perfectly placed.
Just wow is all I can say there. They're going to tell us that Julia Hamauer with the assist, but we haven't. I don't know how many more good things we can say about Grace Sandquist here in this match, but she just gave us one more to talk about, and that's a goal scored here in this first half.
Sandquist is only a sophomore, so 2 more seasons of her making a pest of herself for other teams.
Well, you could just tell almost right from the start, say about that 5-6 minute mark in, she fired her first attempt. Chris, if you remember, that's the one that went just tall over the crossbar. And from that moment on, Sandquist has been involved in nearly every offensive venture that the Evergreens have had here in this half.
We'll recap our scoring. The Evergreens got a goal early, 7 minutes in, and have added 2 more in the later stages of the second half. Maddie Sazama has tallied twice.
Yeah, Bremer alertly and correctly called off for defenders there. Did not want to risk a corner, and instead will kick it away. Header there from Avery Weister. Good attempt, but just no connecting partner after that header. You could hear maybe the Marshfield midfielders really encouraging their forwards to go. Midfielders wanted some action. Homolka took a swing there, but taken away once again defensively by our first half defensive star, Katie Schultz.
Time on the screen unofficial, but we're getting close to halftime now.
Yes.
Do the Evergreens already have what they need?
Oh, they might, Chris. I mean, they might.
I mean, Marshfield's going to regroup. They need some time to just assess what the first half has been like. They've been outplayed in this first half.
I'll save my more comments on that for our halftime show, but they might have what they need right now.
And the Evergreens have stayed super aggressive.
Yeah, there's been no let-up. It's been foot on the gas the whole time.
Whistle there, obvious takedown.
Oh boy, and we're going to get, and right as I think our first half clock expired, we'll see what the guys next door think. But we're going to get a kick here, I think, regardless of the time on the scoreboard, aren't we? Yeah, right. We're going to stop the clock here. We're going to get a kick. Everest's going to get one shot here from about 28, 29 yards out.
Yeah. Lowe looks like not only did she come up favoring one side, but she looked like she hit her head when she came down to the turf.
So Shijong Lowe is going to head to halftime just a little bit early, and this is going to be Sandquist to take the free kick, or the free kick.
Sandquist is going to be about 15 yards outside the big box here.
Yeah, for which I believe are the final seconds here of the first half.
Right. Kirsten Hall will come on for the injured Evergreen. Right, we're going to get the whistle to conclude the first half shortly after this kick over a 3-person wall. Low, chipped in just over the crossbar.
Oh, Chris, that set piece was really well put together. Sandquist put it on a dime, and there we do get our whistle for half.
Marshfield trails 3-0, and to be honest, they're lucky they're not down by more.
All right, well, we'll talk about that chance. We'll talk about second half coming up. Chris will update our scoring in the first half. It's been all DC Everest here in half number one, this conference championship game on Zaleski Sports.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet, and going on now through the end of May, the Spring Tire Plus event, which means huge saving on select tires. $50 rebates, $70 rebates, up to $100 rebates on select tires. Going on now through May 31st.
For years, our Store Innovations customers told us they love our countertops, but only wanted to deal with one company for their entire kitchen project. Well, we've heard you. So now Store Innovations can give you a brand new kitchen with the same high quality products, selection, expertise we've been giving you for years. And now we can give you that brand new kitchen in just 1 week. After sitting down with our designers, picking out cabinets, countertops, and flooring, it will only take us 1 week to install everything. Store Innovations, new kitchens in just 1 week.
Thank you for helping Abbey Bank become the most highly recommended community bank.
Thank you to all of our customers for helping us be successful.
Thank you for putting your trust in us.
Thank you for your loyalty.
Thank you for helping us support our communities.
We are grateful for customers like you.
Thank you to all of our customers. We hope to see you soon.
When buying or selling land, the biggest decision you make is choosing your representation. Retail Properties is the top real estate company for selling hunting land, recreational properties, and farms. Our nationwide network of sportsmen, farmers, and investors offers a great opportunity for you to capitalize on the true market value of your property. In central Wisconsin, Brian Roosh is your local land specialist and is ready to help you get started on all of your property needs.
As senior night festivities fill the air here at halftime, we'll turn now to Chris Conley for our first half scoring update.
Well, the Evergreens have 3 goals, and they got a chance early in the game from Grace Sandquist. She ripped one just over the crossbar, and it kept us at 0-0. Marshfield has only 3 shots on goal here in the first half, and none of them particularly well struck. The Evergreens broke through at the 7-minute mark, the first of 2 goals for Madison Sezama. She scored first from inside the big box, got an assist for Shizheng Lo, and the Evergreens led 1-0. Marshfield didn't have much of an answer after going down by 1 goal. The Evergreens kept 4 defensive players back and were still able to generate chances. They broke through again with Maddie's second goal at the 32nd minute. Katie Schultz got an assist, and Katie's been super solid defensively for the Evergreens. And then Grace Sandquist, who's been a threat throughout the night, scored late in the first half at the 38th minute. The Evergreens got an assist there from Julia Haymauer. And the Evergreens on the final play of the first half got a kick from outside the big box near the near side post. The Evergreens played it short and used it as a set piece. They asked Sandquist to set up one of her teammates on the far side. And the Evergreens just missed getting a 4th goal. So 3-0, and it could have been more.
Yeah, it could have been more. We saw in that last play, Shizheng Lo came off injured. Coach Lucas Colross may have, and I would have if I was him. It was allowed then by way of that kind of an injury timeout to maybe just think about how to run that final play, and came up with just a brilliant set piece on that final play, which ultimately turned into, again, I think back to American-style football. It's what reigns supreme here in this country. You think of it at the end of a game on a defensive penalty, you get one untimed play, and that's really what that amounted to be. And you said it, Chris, Everest really could be up 4-0 here at half.
Right, 3-0 here, and it doesn't seem like it's the kind of team that's going to give back a 3-goal lead. So Marshfield is in kind of deep water here. And the Tigers, I mean, what a disappointing result today. If an opportunity for an outright conference championship slips away, that would be kind of a quiet bus ride home. It is senior night, and as we mentioned, the Evergreens are really an underclassmen-based team. We should acknowledge the seniors who are presented to the crowd here by their teammates. Katie Scholes, who has an assist today, she's a senior. Aaliyah Roble is also one of the Everest seniors. Ari Mahomes, a senior. And Nina Allen. Aubrey Leigel, 5 seniors for the DC Everest Evergreens today. playing their final home game of the regular season. Playoffs for girls high school soccer start next Tuesday. These teams already have their assignments. Evergreens and Chippewa Falls. Chi-High is a lower seed, but you know what? Chippewa Falls has a 1-0 win from earlier in the season over Marshfield. Marshfield goes into the playoffs as a Division II team. Again, the Tigers are right on the edge in a lot of sports of whether they play Division I or Division II. Just because there are more girls' schools that play soccer, Marshfield's Division II, they'll open at home against Merrill over at the beautiful soccer complex up there.
Matter of fact, Chris, I think back to 2018, Marshfield boys basketball in Division II were in a sectional final. So your point is definitely made there and well thought of. Take a quick break. We'll continue our halftime coverage right after this on Zaleski Sports.
Fundraising can be a pain. FundraiseLocal.com is the solution. It's a business based in central Wisconsin that can help your school, club, or city organization raise money while helping our local businesses. FundraiseLocal.com is simple, fun, and great for the community with no door-to-door selling or piles of products sitting around the house. If you are an organization looking to fundraise or a small family-owned business looking for a way to grow by selling your gift cards, products, or services, find out more at FundraiseLocal.com. Shop local, fundraise local, be local.
At Nicolay Bank, we believe that our hometown communities are the backbone of what makes Wisconsin special. From Crivets to Manitowoc and Algoma to Grand Chute, you see a thriving community with Nicolay Bank working as a partner, acting not as a corporation, but a community. When we serve together with local entrepreneurs and leaders, great things happen. That is our guiding principle. A strong and successful hometown means a strong and successful Wisconsin. We are proud to be a part of that. Nicolay Bank. Real people, real conversations.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet, and going on now through the end of May, the Spring Tire Plus event, which means huge saving on select tires. $50 rebates, $70 rebates, up to $100 rebates on select tires. Going on now through May 31st.
Come back here to DC Everest Middle School in Weston, Wisconsin today. We'll talk about Fairway Mortgage and circle the date in just a moment. But Chris, real quick, if you could just tell us again those goal scorers and the times in the first half, and we'll begin then to talk about second half.
Maddie Sazama has scored twice, early in the 7th minute and then again in the 32nd minute. A late goal for Grace Sandquist. Again, Sandquist has been a standout player for the Evergreens, that she's had the most looks at the goal, and she's the player that the Evergreens have been trying to target for most of the chances. Sandquist at the 38th minute, so late in the first half. 3-0 Evergreens. And again, I think when you go down 1-0, you're looking, does the other team have a response? Marshfield has not. So that's one of the things we'll look for in the second half. Can the Tigers generate something positive, or is there a chance at a conference title going to slip away from them here?
Say hello to our friends at Fairway Mortgage, offices in Marshfield and Wausau. Yeah, a second half comeback for Marshfield, well, it would be fantastic in the way that it would be spectacular. Because to score 4 in the second half is going to be an undertaking, but it would be a moment, and it would be something that people in Marshfield will talk about for a long time.
Like we said earlier in the broadcast, Marshfield does not need a win tonight, so they don't need to score 4. Scoring 3 goals, a tie would still put Marshfield into the title. That's because DC Everest settled for a tie earlier against Wausau West. And I believe that was a game over at West. The West soccer pitch is maddening. It's like going to a Six Flags roller coaster, up and down, up and down. You know, before Marshfield built the new stadium, if you remember the games over at Greasy Park was one of those places too, where the pitch just has settled in some areas over the years. So the ball kind of roller coasters and whips around there.
The thing about Greasy Park is on the south end of the field, it slopes down. And so you get to run downhill a little bit, especially if you're on the southwest corner of it. But varsity soccer, anyway, for Marshfield Senior High School, fortunately for everybody involved, gets to be played on a professional turf field these days. And then maybe, Chris, what Coach Jeff Malter is perhaps reminding his girls of, and one of the things that a coach will always say is we can't get 3 all at once, so we're going to do this to get 1, and then after that we'll talk about our plan for the next one. But you're exactly right. 3 goals still does the trick for the Tigers. It would still be a remarkable comeback for Marshfield if that were to happen here tonight.
What I'd like to see is whether the Tigers can just make something positive happen, because the Evergreens owned all of the chances from the mid stages right to the end of the first half. And then, can the Tigers get something good in their column and then build on that? That's just something that hasn't materialized for them yet. And yet, obviously, this is a team that's got some quality. I mean, they've played 8 times in conference play, and they've won 7 of them. So that's a team that's good. Just hasn't shown up yet tonight.
Well, again, as we said, this and you just mentioned, a team that has beat Everest already this year, a team tonight that came in with a half-game lead in the conference standings. So certainly they've got all the tools to win a game like this, but they're going to start in a 3-goal hole to start the second half, which will start in roughly 4 minutes or so. Before we begin to talk about other things happening on Zaleski Sports this week, remind folks, circle the date on South Central Avenue in Marshfield is your go-to for your prom, your homecoming, your wedding, and other special events, formal events, or check this out, Chris, let me make sure I have this right here, during sectional finals for boys and girls basketball, I wanted to wear just a little bit snappier, maybe a more updated suit, and I went down to Circle the Date, and I rented a suit just for the day, just so I could look nice on camera at sectional final night.
I remember that. That was a game over in Edgar, was it not?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I
looked in on that. I thought, my goodness, my parole officers are on camera. Look at that.
The camera has made over the years has made me do things that I didn't think I would otherwise do. But Circle the Date can help you with all of that. So if you just want to look nice tonight or a night upcoming, Circle the Date on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. All right, so halftime show complete. Girls are coming back onto the pitch, and so that means no commercial break. We'll zoom the camera out and get ready for second half action of soccer.
Maybe this is an intangible. Obviously, the Evergreens are playing. This is an emotional time within the D.C. Everest community. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they lost 2 students in a tragic car crash. One of them, Emily Lorenz, was going to be the high school valedictorian. Tomorrow is graduation night at Everest. I'm not sure that I would want to be the opponent when it's such an emotional time. I mean, it just adds an intangible to the game. Is one team going to play above itself? And the Evergreens have played a very good first half of soccer.
You turn tragedy to triumph, Chris. And so far, if that is what is in the minds of these Everest girls, to this point, that one half of tragedy has been turned to triumph.
I don't know the names, so just take this with a grain of salt. But Coach Luke Colross was saying that the Evergreens team manager, the person who does all the stuff to set up practice and to get everyone ready before, was the boyfriend of Emily Lorenz, one of the students who died in the car crash in Washington County. So there is a team connection to the sadness that happened here.
Yeah, and those that were watching our Wheelers pregame show, or if you want to watch, you can rewind back to the beginning. I talked to Coach Cole Ross, and he was visibly emotional in that interview. And because of what Chris just said, because there is an absolute team connection to it.
And, even at a bigger school, Everest lists 1,800 students for WIAA seating. So it's a large school, second largest in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. Only SPASH is bigger. But students, you're only 1 or 2 degrees of separation from anyone else in your class, even if you don't personally know someone who's involved in something good or something bad, or in this case, something tragic. You know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, there's no doubt when that news showed up back at home that many kids heard from their parents or they saw it and said, I had history class with that person.
Sure. I may not have known them, or they may not have been my best friend, but they had lunch with me. They were one table over, or I've got friends who are their friends.
Yep.
Marshfield really put their first good chance on goal together in a while, and they're going to get a corner kick here. And the Tigers really need to convert something here, and the earlier in the second half, the better. Low and into traffic.
And
Xi Zhang Lo came in and disrupted the chance. I think this is going to be another corner kick.
It will be another corner. Yes, our field official has said that there was some discussion about it. Another corner, and unfortunately, I can't see to the corner, so I would tell you who's kicking the corner. But I tell you, it was a well-placed corner coming in low, and now we'll see if it comes in high.
Line drive, out of danger. Another Marshfield opportunity, kind of snuffed out. I think Marshfield's going to get the throw in. Nope, other way.
Yeah, and again, like the first half, Chris, it was Katie Schultz, 2 for DC Everest getting in the way of that corner.
Schultz is one of the more interesting players because she's been solid on the defensive end. She was part of the Everest girls basketball team. I believe a 3-sport athlete. I think she plays volleyball as well. And of course, the girls basketball team had such little success. That was an uphill season that was just difficult to get through. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you turn the page a couple of months forward on the calendar, and then suddenly you're playing for a conference championship for girls soccer.
Schultz.
Yep.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Marshfield will get a throw in on the far side, and they're rushing forward. And again, rushed so much that's a bad throw in, too long. And Sandquist unable to clear it for the Evergreens, but Everest got 2 players in the neighborhood. Marshfield will throw in as this goes over the touchline.
Makes me convinced that Coach Jeff Malter has at halftime told his girls, we've got to quicken our pace here. We've got to hustle, and maybe we may have to outrun these Evergreens in the second half.
Shot from long range, much too wide to the near side post. Barely stays in play.
Coach Malter likely also telling his girls, we've got to be more aggressive. Not only more aggressive than we were in the first half, but we've got to be more aggressive than they were in the first half. And that's showing here a little bit. You see the kind of the exuberance with that strike there just a moment ago. I could imagine Coach Malter telling his girls, we've got to really get after it here.
Sure, why not push more players up when you're already down 3-0? If because you're thin defensively on the other end, well, so what? If you give away another goal, these are the chances that you have to take when you're down like you are now.
Tonight, I don't think there's a difference between 3-0 and 4-0.
No, there really isn't. We're sponsored by Stewart Optical at Union Station, Wausau for your eye care and eyewear needs. Open 5 days a week with amazing monthly specials and instant savings on contact lenses. Most insurance plans accepted. Schedule your exam now at Stewart Optical.
Kilty continued to harass Sasma on the way down, and Sasma ends up going down, and the whistle comes out, so we're going to have a free kick coming up for Everest, and it'll be Grace Sandquist as she it says, I'm on this ball here.
Sandquist has a tough angle, but she's capable. If you're not familiar with soccer, that's a delayed whistle, which is exactly what you want, because if the offensive team fights and gets the ball, you don't want a whistle disrupting the chance.
That's right.
A little bit, but not exactly like a penalty in hockey. You wait till the other team touches before the whistle sounds. Yeah, Sandquist was still able to put that on goal despite the tough angle.
Yep, went to loft a little bit, and that was... It was a smart kick there from Sandquist. Really the only option that she had.
Wow, that Everest player emerged with the ball with Marshfield players in front, behind, and on either side. Yeah,
all kinds of space there. It didn't result in anything for DC Everest, but she had such wide open green grass in front of her.
Again, the Tigers, it's a tough night to just be out of sorts, but the Tigers seem to be having trouble stringing together the series of passes that would result in a good chance. I mean, because Marshfield plays kind of a smaller, tighter game, you've got to be able to string together. You've got to make 3 or 4 connections to move the ball down the pitch, and something seems to happen after pass 2 or 3. This is a nice ball ahead. Ava Hopner, shot on goal, good save there.
Yeah,
credit where credit is due. Bremer laid out for that and smothered it down low. That was a tough chance.
Really did a spectacular job there as that ball began to twist from her right to left. She stuck with it the whole way.
There was a trend in girls soccer a couple of years ago that the best players would seek out these ruby red soccer cleats, like Dorothy going down the yellow brick road. So on the best teams, I mean, again, you were making a statement if you had the ruby red soccer cleats. You said, hey, I'm all that and a little more.
You better have been able to back it up.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the elite teams, the best players were just really easy to follow by the colorful footwear.
Yeah, kind of like in college football, right? The guy who gets to wear the number 1 jersey, he better be the fastest out there, and 2, he better be good.
Right, number 1 better not be a 0. Absolutely. Hopner with a run here. Coming up and challenging, that's a nice defensive play. Tiger came up, denied the chance. Brought to you by Fleet Farm Rewards. Get great deals sent straight to you, plus earn points on every purchase in-store or online. Sign up now at fleetfarm.com. Everything you need in one stop. Get it all at Fleet Farm.
Talked about these in the pregame show, Chris. Well, we have just a quick moment here in the action. We'll again show starting 11 for both teams. First for DC Everest. Give those girls the recognition that at least we believe that they deserve. And then we'll move to Marshfield's starting 11.
Show both coaches that their efforts are appreciated. Coaches sending over the shots of their players so that we could do some pre-production work for this game of the week. Fundraise Local says every team needs to fundraise. Keep it local with Fundraise Local. Learn all about how your organization can raise money while keeping that money right here in our community. Visit fundraiselocal.com. Shop local. Fundraise local. Be local. We've played a scoreless second half. The Evergreens getting all of their goals in the first. 1 early at the 7-minute mark and 2 late in the 32nd and 38th minute. An 80-minute match at high school. I remember it wasn't all that many years ago that we played 90-minute matches.
I think this is the third season of the reduced time. Open opposite end of the net for Hopper and just struck it wide. Saw it. Couldn't quite fit it in. Couldn't bend it.
Yeah. Again, just no breaks for the Tigers tonight either.
Yeah. Like we talked about, Chris, there, the emotional edge to Everest, the home field edge to Everest. So some things that were stacked against Marshfield to begin with, but and as we've also said, they also haven't responded to it.
When you just look across the way, the Evergreens have a big student section for a girls' soccer match tonight. It's almost like it's a student body that needs something else to do. And here they are gathering for what we hope is a time of healing, time of putting things back together. I mean, graduation tomorrow for DC Everest just takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah, a great turnout. And when you consider that that the softball team is in a playoff game, which is probably done by now, probably has been done for some time, the turnout here, and I can see Mike Matthews standing across. I know he was supervising softball today, so that game is surely done. But with the connection to the soccer, I suppose that would make sense that some of the other kids, the extra kids, were here to fill those stands. It's just good to see.
Mike Matthews is completing his first full year as Everest athletic director, and the more I've been around the program, athletic director is a crazy job. I mean, the seasons go longer than the school year. Football starts 3 weeks before kids are back in class. These spring sports are going to go beyond graduation.
Especially depending on playoff success, for sure.
Just not a lot of time off.
And then on top of it all, you're also the CEO of the complaint department as athletic director.
You know, when I was in high school, and the high school that I went to in Connecticut, about the same size as DC Everest, our athletic director was a part-time job. He was our math teacher, too. And I just can't imagine. I mean, athletic directors need assistants. Remember when Leanne Kitchell, a great supporter of girls' athletics at the high school level, when she was athletic director, which is when I started covering Everest sports. I mean, she said, you know, we get applications from kids who are out of college who's got like a sports management degree, and they think they can be an athletic director. And they can't unless it's the smallest school.
Right.
I mean, if it's a school that's got just 1 or 2 teams because the student body is so small, maybe. But running an athletic department, the amount of moving parts. And, you know, they're athletic and activities director. So all the other things that happen during the school year, from prom to homecoming to whatever the drama department does. That's all under the athletic director's office as well.
Yeah, the assemblies that happen and other things during the school day. Those people are in charge. Like I said, they're in charge of the coaches. They're in charge of the student athletes. They're in charge of the parents. They're making the schedule. They're negotiating the schedules. They're hiring the coaches, and like you said, it's a year-round job.
Mike Matthews and his family have been associated with the Everest Athletic Department forever, so he bleeds green.
Sure does. Former softball coach in the district.
Right. I remember his daughter, Mackenzie Matthews, who was part of the Everest girls basketball team that went all the way to the state finals, undefeated, till they ran into Arika Agumbawali and the Divine Savior Holy Angels.
Yeah, the Dashers.
By the way, who play elite soccer and were posted just a few days ago as a number 1 seed. So I think the road to a soccer championship probably goes through Divine Savior as well.
There you go.
Got a funny story about doing a game down at Divine Savior because the Evergreens used to have them on the schedule. It was a game I wasn't even supposed to do. I was downstate for a baseball game that got rained out.
Yeah,
and of course, soccer, it doesn't matter.
Milwaukee area for those that aren't familiar.
Right. And if you know the Marquette University campus, if you imagine yourself facing the cathedral from the parking lot across the street, to the left is the good neighborhood towards downtown Milwaukee, and towards the right is an unspeakably bad neighborhood, which is where Divine Savior plays their soccer games. So we're setting up there, and Divine Savior, a religious school, starts with a moment of prayer.
Okay.
So the nun who is on the microphone, she's in the full habit there, and says, now we'll have a moment of prayer. And from one of the tenement apartments across the street, it's a hot day, the windows are open, comes the filthiest rap song that is suddenly blaring out of the windows. Songs and lyrics that we cannot repeat on a Zaleski Sports broadcast.
Thank you.
And then as it was in the late afternoon, the lights were on, floodlights were on like they are now. And they told us that they'd keep the floodlights on until the team got onto the bus. That kind of neighborhood. This is a challenge that's going to draw a foul there.
Yeah, physical play there. Both players were battling. There were elbows intertwined, and finally at the end of it, it was a twist and a kick given by the Marshfield player, and you see our official signal just that. Free kick for the Evergreens. Good physical play.
Like in many sports, you judge how good the officiating is, are the officials in the background. And this has been a well-officiated game there, too. This has been a nice crew.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a nice move, splitting players, a long run towards the goal, shot on one bounce. It's loose in front and then gathered in on a second chance from Peyton Bremer.
Well, and Bremer got that rebound just in time, and as the jersey turns to me, I'll tell you that Olivia Gertz was nanoseconds from burying that in the back of the net.
Right, the long run came from Maddie Sazama, who's already got 2 goals and was making a run for her 3rd. Right, what you're looking for from a goalkeeper at any level is, are they clean on the first chance? Balls that bounce off you are wild cards and sometimes don't go your way, cost you goals. We're sponsored by Sutton Transport in Weston, your local family-owned trucking company specializing in next-day LTL delivery and national volume LTL services. Rest assured of getting your freight to its destination safely and timely. Sutton Transport in Weston. They're fueled by 40 years of great service with a personal touch.
Chris, I've enjoyed watching Maddie Sazama play here today. Junior Jenna Bauman, who was unavailable this year due to a out-of-season injury. Those two on the field next year. Again, we're in the 57th minute here, so Marshfield still a chance. There's still a chance here, but Everest, let's just say the score holds, they win the conference championship this year, and then you've got Sazama, Bauman, and others coming back next year. This may be the only chance for a non-Everest team to win a title in the next couple of years.
Yeah, the Evergreens have a lot of their key pieces coming back. And the Evergreens, I've covered this athletic department. This is going to be my 12th season. I'm coming to an end of my 12th season. And we've had some runs where the girls' athletes have been outstanding. And, of course, many of them are multi-sport. The Everest softball team, co-champions with Spash this year. We assume that they've won their playoff game against East, which seems like a mismatch. They have only 3 seniors, and none of them start. So that's a team that brings back an elite pitcher, some elite hitters, and they're all going to be back for next year. Jason Zaleski is reaching for the secondary technology and will update us on a score shortly. Now that we've brought up girls softball.
Yeah, you reminded me. Well, I'd imagine half the audience is Schofield area, so let's take a peek and pass along the score if we can find one, and I'm sure that I can. Marshfield as well, softball opening round game today, so we'll pass along both scores. Should I be able to track them down? Of course, those of you watching online and you're on a mobile device, you can chat with us below. And one, if we've said anything wrong, feel free to correct us. Two, if you know something we don't, pass it along.
We love positive comments.
Yeah.
Something negative? Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. So Everest over Wausau East in playoff softball action, 9-0. Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln over Wausau West, 10-0. They will play on Thursday, a regional championship game. And Marshfield is at New Richmond, and the score has not come in yet.
Challenge there, and Katie Schultz is going to get called for the foul as Avery Weister went tumbling, and Avery is injured. We're going to have a clock stoppage here. Reaching towards her back, she came down awkwardly, and Marshfield will get to substitute. Grace Taylor Jr. will come in.
I was trying to find a different resource for the Marshfield is at New Richmond. Marshfield, the 11 seed. New Richmond, also the Tigers, a 6 seed. But that game happening in western Wisconsin. Maybe news doesn't travel as fast when you go that far west.
Connectivity issues, of course. On the restart, Tigers are at the edge of the attacking third. And that's poorly struck and out of play. Would feel pretty good about themselves here with the victory. When last seen, this team beat Eau Claire Memorial, which over the years has been a nemesis. Eau Claire Memorial must be down this year. Evergreens have had seasons come to an end by making the trip over to play the Old Abes.
Softball, you're saying?
No.
Soccer.
In soccer.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Eau Claire Memorial has had a strong girls soccer program, no doubt.
Top to bottom, some of those Eau Claire schools, and they're becoming new friends here in our Zaleski stable of schools.
Oh, they are.
A lot of those schools have nice athletic departments.
So that one swiftly ushered out by Kaylin Kurth. And through all their best intentions here, Chris, Marshfield still offensively has not been able to hook it up.
Sure, you've got to generate more looks at the net, and the Tigers just haven't really had them so far.
No, I take a look down at McKenna Campman, and she's not doing much in goal here in the second half. Patrolling a bit here and there, but has had plenty of free time back there.
Express Employment has locations in Wausau, Stevens Point, and Marshfield. No matter where you are in central Wisconsin, save some time and find your next employer. Go online to expresspros.com, expresspros.com. Tigers push this deep into the attacking area. Player tumbles down in the box. No whistle. Evergreen's got to clear this out. Which do you think will come through first? Will the mosquitoes be unbearable up here, or will we come to full time?
I think I'm already at the mosquito. I'm already at my mosquito limit. And, we had a light year last year, a remarkably under-mosquitoed year last year. So I guess we get payback this year. I don't know how it all works and why some year there are more and there are less, because you can think about, well, it was rainy this or rainy that. That hasn't equaled out over the years. It's the mosquitoes just come and go as they please.
Well, at my home in Wausau, Wausau observes no mow May. It's supposed to be good for the bees and other pollinators, and, no bees, no pollen, no crops.
Yeah, right.
So it's been wet enough that my lawn is unusually, like a neighbor would say something. Hey, Conley, do the lawn. What's going on there?
Right.
So I think when the calendar turns to June 1st, I think if I'm going to let the lawn grow anymore, I'm going to have to lie about the status. Here's a run for the Tigers, and again, snuffed out. It's the Evergreens with that run.
Yep, that was Ava Hopper again. She has put pressure on, call it from about the 20th minute on. Hopper has had her name mentioned often. So Tigers able to regain field position here. Now, with the task they haven't yet to master here today is getting looks inside the box.
Again, you see in our wide view, the Evergreens are packing 4 players in the black jerseys back defensively. It's the luxury you have when you're playing from in front here at the middle stages now of the second half.
Yeah, especially now. We're under 20 minutes to play. I don't know that Everest has a mode that they'll say, let's let off the gas. But if they did, you wouldn't begrudge them for doing it now.
So Zama, who already has 2 goals, forced off the ball there.
Yeah, forced off the ball, and the flag had come up. The Evergreens were offside, so either way, that was going to be the ball was going to come out. Mishandle there by the Tigers. The Evergreens give it back.
You know, if this game is not in doubt at this stage, both teams are hoping to get through the last 20 minutes here with no injuries. There are playoff games coming up next week.
Yep.
Don't want to be missing key players.
Oh, what a feed. Oh, man.
Yeah, that went right through the needle. Aubrey Legal was the last person to touch it. Aubrey may have been surprised that that ball got through such a tight spot and onto her foot, and it did.
It wasn't even on the spot, Chris. It was right on her big toe. Yeah. It was exactly where it was supposed to be. You couldn't have walked up there and set it on her foot any better. A fantastic pass. Maybe a lucky pass, but it was fantastic.
Nice when we get into the late spring and summertime in Wisconsin. Just stays lighter later. Floodlights taking effect. We'll be under the lights completely by the time we get to full time today. But this has been a really comfortable evening for soccer.
Yeah, there's something magical about high school sports and lights.
Here's a run down the end. Aubrey Legal. Aubrey was not one of the starters, but has been active since coming in here in the middle stages of the second half.
It'll turn out to be a earned throw for the Evergreens. I couldn't see the Marshfield defender there, but the only option she had was just to sneak it right out of bounds.
You know, Jason, you said this before. The Tigers have to play faster. I mean, the clock is running, and this ball took a long time to come in.
One of the few balls, Chris, kicked right at us.
I've said when we're doing baseball games, I am the Gold Glove announcer. Nothing gets by me.
Well, and I'll tell you this, we have one on staff you haven't had the pleasure of working with yet, Mr. Cale Jacoby. He is in a baseball situation in a press box. He is a ball magnet. So if you ever work with Cale, bring your catcher's mask and your mitt because you'll get a ball hit right to you.
I knew a baseball college broadcaster in Syracuse. He's actually gone on to some pretty big things. His name is Dan Horde. He's the voice of the NFL Cincinnati Bengals.
I know that.
And does some of the Bearcats football and basketball games. But when he was doing Syracuse Chiefs minor league games, he bought a giant fishnet with it and would snag foul balls off the screen that was attached to the upper deck right below his broadcast booth.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of the oversized, kind of homemade, handmade nets.
Right.
Yeah.
It had a big rod, almost looked like a broomstick attached to it, and he'd sweep them up. I think he maybe sold them back to the team. Minor league baseball broadcasters, they make no money.
Well, if we would have had one of those nets, we could have caught that ball just a moment ago.
Dan Horde, again, unless you're a Bengals or Bearcats fan, you probably have no idea who we're talking about. When he was with the Syracuse Chiefs, had one of the most unusual career decisions to make. He got a Major League Baseball play-by-play offer. Those are the most coveted jobs in sports broadcasting. But it was for the Montreal Expos, a team that was going to move out of Montreal and has since become the Washington Nationals.
Right.
For their last 2 seasons, the Expos played some games in Puerto Rico. They had a larger minor league stadium, and in the middle of the season, a promoter took and literally bought the games down to Puerto Rico. So they played 20 or 30 of their games there. It made the travel even more difficult. And Dan Hort passed up that opportunity. Said, no, I think I'll hold out for something better.
Chris, we haven't done one of these in a moment. We better take a commercial break. Back to full screen coverage in just a moment on Zaleski Sports.
Grassland Dairy Products is your match for an exciting new career today. Go to grassland.com to see the opportunities waiting for you. Browse through careers like CDL truck driver, shipping and receiving, line tech, quality assurance, forklift, maintenance tech, inventory associates, and more. Great compensation, weekly pay, and zero premium company paid health, dental, and life. Apply now at grassland.com or in person at Grassland Dairy Products, Fairground Avenue, just south of Greenwood.
Back to full screen coverage at DC Everest Middle School.
If you were watching the small box, it's an example of how Marshfield's just out of sync. Hadley Hall broke to the outside on a ball that her teammate fed towards the inside. Just one of those things where you're just not quite on the same page. Evergreens send this into traffic. Marshfield clears it away.
That was dangerous, and that went through about 60% of the box unattended. A dangerous ball.
We have played a scoreless second half. Evergreens had an early lead after minute number 7 and added 2 late goals in the first half.
So you think of a 3-0 first half, and you think of 0-0 when we're in the 68th minute. You may think, okay, Marshfield's playing a little bit better, and perhaps they are, but you'd see we've talked about this already in the second half, just the Everest defensive strategy also has contributed to the zeros.
Right, the alignments are different when you have the luxury of playing for a lead. Foundation Finance says now is your chance to work with a company that understands growth. Foundation Finance has grown every year since they started in 2012, and they have great full-time and part-time positions. Start a job making the money you need with flexible scheduling and a close-knit, fun-loving group. Full-time benefits start from day one. Learn more at foundationfinance.com. Mutual of Wausau Insurance is protecting homes, farms, and businesses since 1875. Visit mutualofwausau.com and find an agent near you. Post-game coverage will be down on the field once this one goes to full-time.
The question I have is there a championship trophy? There should be. Like a traveling trophy in the conference. That if they don't, maybe we'll change that for next year. I know where to get some of those.
I think some of the hardware, I think to the hockey season where Wausau West could almost bolt the Marathon Cup down in their trophy case. They win it year after year.
That's right.
That trophy looks like it needs a little refurbishment.
Yeah, in Mosinee hockey, they play for something called the Cheese Grater, and there are other traveling trophies in high school sports in the area. So why not a Wisconsin Valley Conference soccer championship trophy?
Fighting through this at even. Stopping, shot on goal, hit the post, off the goalkeeper's hands, and then hit the far post.
Hopper, Chris. That was Hopper again.
Yeah, Ava Hopper, for someone who has not scored one of the goals, has been as active as you can be without scoring in the second half.
And a corner is going to be awarded here. They say that was off of Bremer and then the post. So a corner upcoming for the Evergreens. The chance is still alive.
Little bit of air under this, bending away. It's in traffic. Bent away from the net. Marshfield gets it out of danger. We're brought to you by Elite Auto Care, where Schofield, Weston, and Wausau turn for local family-owned auto service you can trust. Major and minor repairs, foreign and domestic vehicles. Look to Elite Auto Care. Schofield Avenue, Schofield. We're getting late in our first year of DC Everest Zaleski sports coverage, and we thank all of the sponsors who've made this possible. Local businesses supporting your local kids who are playing local sports.
And one of them is here now.
At Express Employment Professionals, we place people from all walks of life in all kinds of jobs.
Hi, welcome to Express. Please sign in and have a seat.
Great, thanks. Great, thanks. Great, thanks. Great, thanks.
And once again, back to full screen coverage.
And the Evergreens just don't seem like they're in any danger here. They've continued to generate chances, although they haven't broken through in the second half. Maddie Sazama has 2 of the 3 goals for the Evergreens at the 7th and 32nd minute. Zhizhang Lo with the assist on the first, and Katie Schultz with the assist on the second. We haven't called Grace Sandquist's name in a while. She may not be out on the pitch as much. Again, you hate to see an injury or someone get dinged when you've got playoff games ahead next week, and you seem to be in control of what's happening tonight. Evergreens in their countdown to their conference championship, about 9 minutes away.
And Chris, that means you'll be in your countdown to the Nasonville Dairy Postgame show, where you'll talk to the winner of today's match, and it's your discretion, yours and coach, but 1 or 2 perhaps of the student athletes get their comments after. So when this one is done, don't go anywhere. Our coverage does continue.
Tigers again tried to bend that ball towards the center, and Cassie Langfoss was bending towards the outside. Langfoss is still going to get to the ball here. Not the Everest player, Katie Schultz, who's had a great game. Was kind of at even and touched it over the end line. This will be a corner kick from the near side coming up for the Tigers. Get Culligan Water for $9.95 a month for the first 3 months. Visit Sterling Culligan Water online. CulliganH2O.com. That's CulliganH2O.com. A lot of air under this to the near side post. Again, nothing goes right for Marshfield. It bounces and goes over the head of their player on the far side.
Yeah, that was Hayden Berger over there. It was the ball had bounced fortuitously, but Tiger was not left to get after it.
I bet the Tigers, in addition to trailing, feel a little bit unlucky tonight, too.
Yeah, and I think that kind of exemplified the missing luck there. A ball that, for a moment, Tigers fans here and at home said, all right, we got one to bounce our way, and then over the head of the next Tiger.
Right, loose in the box. Haven't seen that a lot for the Tigers today. Auto Select of Weston is on Schofield Avenue. They've been providing dependable vehicle repair, service, and tires for 22 years. They have a 3-year nationwide warranty and free roadside assistance. At Auto Select, you're good to go. That's Auto Select, Schofield Avenue, Weston.
Nearby, relatively speaking. Again, I came from Marshfield, so to me, that's nearby. Chris looking at me like, that's still miles away from here, buddy.
Yeah, of all of the Everest sports facilities, this one's in kind of the remote, out-of-the-way spot.
Yeah.
And it is nice, the number of kids in the soccer program. This is the home of Marathon County United, the soccer club that keeps a lot of these kids playing through the summer months. That Everest has a lot of kids that come out through the soccer season.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris. We get all kinds of requests from that club to come and broadcast, and usually our summers are fairly well tied up, so we don't get a chance, and now they're going to see this and ask again. We'll take a quick break. Be back for more full-screen coverage right after this.
What Heartland Farms is a large potato and vegetable operation. Who Heartland Farms is a group of hardworking, dedicated people who have a common vision.
Heartland Farms is an accumulation of individuals who came from family farm backgrounds, grew up on family farms, and now have come together as one larger team to own and manage a much larger farm enterprise.
Just about 5 minutes left for DC Everest. All that stands in their way, that and a 3-goal advantage in their way of a conference championship here tonight.
Yeah, the Evergreens are going to notch their 7th conference win. They'll be 7-1-1 The games that they didn't win this season, well, Marshfield beat them over at Marshfield. Again, on a windy, kind of miserable, unpleasant day, and the Evergreens settled for a tie, 3-3 against Wausau West. Again, Marshfield's going to look back. They didn't play particularly well today, but the Evergreens just, you look at this game objectively, the Evergreens were the better club today. So the Evergreens, in that sense, are deserving winners and deserving conference champions. But Marshfield, as they look back and reassess the season, is not going to feel good about the earlier loss to Wisconsin Rapids.
Right.
If they got that game, again, Rapids is a 500 team, not elite in the Wisconsin Valley Conference this season. If they put that game in the win column, the result tonight would not have mattered. Marshfield would have already had the conference championship under their belts.
Yeah, this would have been more about let's maybe experiment and try some things before playoffs next week.
Right. If this game was meaningless to Marshfield, if they got the Rapids win, this would be a great playoff tune-up for a team, for sure.
Yeah.
Imperial Industries says when you join the team at Imperial Industries, you're joining a family. The leading manufacturer of welded tanks and silos, vacuum tanks and trucks. Apply today and take advantage of an extensive benefits package, competitive pay, and a family atmosphere at Imperial Industries. The word of the day for Coach Luke Colross, aside from conference championship, will be man bun. It's been a while since I've seen Coach, because we haven't done, this is our first soccer game of the season, and it looks like we'll have some happy moments down on the field. Let's step out for a final message from our Zaleski Sports sponsors. It's late, and the Evergreens lead 3-0.
No interest in water sports? Biking not really your thing? Want to add some excitement to your camping trip? Need more fun in your life? Hit the trails with an ATV or side-by-side from Bill's Service Center. At Bill's, your passion is our passion, and you'll find your fun with the latest from Can-Am or Polaris off-road products. When you need more fun, you need Bill's.
Bill's Service Center, where the adventure begins.
And that was our penultimate commercial break here tonight. Today's word of the day.
We thank all of our sponsors. The in-screen coverage allows us to make sure that we don't miss anything.
Yeah, and speaking of missing, and it probably wasn't missed, as these officials, as Chris said earlier, have been really good. Everest thought there was a handball in the box there. Every hand went up. The official's hand did not. And that's the only hand that matters. But under 2 minutes, and we will crown a Wisconsin Valley Conference champion here.
Again, the Evergreens, they've got their share of losses. They've dropped 5 of their matches. Only one of them in conference. The Evergreens are going to have to find a way to get it to the next level. A lot of really good Division I programs as you head into postseason. And, you know, the good teams come upon you quickly. The Evergreens will be better than Chippewa Falls. They'll be favored to win here a week from today, next Tuesday. But tough opponents lie ahead right after that. Evergreens have Hudson, a number 2 seed that's over in their bracket. Hudson's an all-everything athletic department.
I guess.
Let's see, the Evergreens in the fall sent their football team over there, and that's where their season came to an end. And if memory serves, that's where the basketball season for the boys came to die.
I was there with you both times.
So that's a long drive for a quiet ride home.
Yeah, 3 hours approximately. Well, maybe not quite that much. On a bus, maybe.
This is going to be a tough loss for Marshfield to process. Again, how could they not be confident? They had a blowout win over the Evergreens earlier, and the script has really been flipped for this one. And the Evergreens will go through the final minutes before we reach full time with a lot of their secondary players on the pitch, and a lot of their starters on the bench.
Okay, about 30 seconds from a conference championship.
Why don't we step out for a final commercial break as this game comes to near full time?
Elite Auto Care is a family-owned business providing top-notch car care to the Schofield, Weston, and Wausau area. They deliver honest and professional automotive repair and maintenance services with quality ASE certified technicians that you can trust. Elite Auto Care offers the latest technology and is equipped to handle all major and minor repairs on both foreign and domestic vehicles. From general maintenance, air conditioning and brakes to exhaust, axle repair, tires, or just...
Final whistle is moments away. There it is. Congratulations to the DC Everest Evergreens. They turn the tables on Marshfield and are 3-0 winners. All the goals in the first half. Maddie Sazama scores twice. Grace Sandquist at the 38th minute. Grace was great today. And the Evergreens celebrate on the field. Something positive and a coming together moment at a time when things have been so difficult for the Everest student body, remembering Emmy Lorenzens and Danny Johnson. Evergreen scored at the 7th minute, in the 32nd and 38th minute of tonight's match. And then we played a scoreless second half. The Evergreens will finish their regular season with a 7-1-1 record, 10-5-3 overall, and the Evergreens 2023 conference champions in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. We'll go down to the field. We'll spend some time with Luke Kohlross and some of the stars of the game, too. We'll see if Grace Sandquist and Maddie Sazama will come over to talk about their victory tonight. Both were fabulous. The Evergreens had some standout performances. I'm Chris Conley for Jason Zaleski. We're wrapping up our play-by-play coverage. Stay tuned for the Nasonville Dairy postgame show. Nasonville Dairy, fresh cheese curds made daily. Get your curds at Nasonville Dairy, Marshfield, Curtis, or online, nasonvilledairy.com. Evergreen's soccer team comes over in front of the student section to celebrate their 3-0 win over Marshfield tonight. And we should congratulate the Marshfield Tigers, too. They had a great season, although they'll finish in second place. Marshfield with a defeat, 7-2-0 in Valley Conference play, 9-6-1 overall. So a disappointing ride home tonight for the Tigers, but a good season overall for this soccer program that's got a lot of players coming back next season as well. Post-game coverage is next. Evergreens 3, Tigers 0 on Zaleski Sports. Well, you get that microphone ready. I'm going to get my...
Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated, bringing you fresh cheese curds made daily, along with many other varieties of Wisconsin-made cheeses and treats. Don't forget to check out our cheese and sausage trays for your upcoming parties and cheese and sausage gift packages for the holiday season or any other special occasion. Nasonville Dairy, located just southwest of Marshfield on US Highway 10, nasonvilledairy.com.
All right, so we're here with Kim Hyman. Kim, Nasonville Dairy, 125 years in the making. Tell us about that.
You know, it's fantastic. It was the first plant built in Wood County back in 1885. Sal Nason and his family came here, and they started a small dairy plant. Eventually that plant burnt down, but then they rebuilt onto this same facility, and our family moved here in the late 60s in 1968 and took it over from there, and it's been just a fantastic growth. Great community, great people we have working for us. Oh, it's an open market. It's huge. You know, the opportunity for the diversity in the cheese industry is fantastic, and you have to be that way in order to sell a lot of product. And so we've got a great group of people working on the research and development side for us. So it's been really fortunate for us. Oh, right. We have 185 farm families that market their milk through us here at Nasonville Dairy. And we are so lucky we have like the best dairy farms in not only in central Wisconsin, but in the United States, marketing milk through us. So we're just really fortunate on that side.
Actually, we started in 1968. Our father brought us here from another cheese plant in Wisconsin. We had come from the cheese business. We've always been in the business. We had moved around the state in different parts. He brought us here about that time. The plant ran 7,500 pounds of milk at that time, and now runs about 1.5 million a day. So. We originally started out with making cheddar, and now we make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmers cheese, pizza cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Frio, Seco, Parma, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Cafflettieri, Cafla Graviera, as well as making some Gouda Edam and a little bit of Munster on occasion.
I'm Chris Conley, and welcome into the Nasonville Dairy postgame show where the Evergreens have claimed a girls' soccer championship. A 3-0 win over the Marshfield Tigers. Spend a moment with Coach here. Coach, obviously this flips the script from the loss earlier in the season. That's got to be satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of parity in the conference this year, and we knew we had to keep it close after we lost to Marshfield and just keep battling. But we knew we had a great team, and this was a complete team effort tonight.
Coach, we said during the broadcast that obviously it's a sad time for the DC Everest student body, and sometimes you just need something that turns the page, and if you wallow in sadness, you drown in it. And I thought that this was a good 90 minutes of something else.
This was our best game all year, and I know the girls played with heavy hearts, and we coached with heavy hearts, and this was an emotional game. I mean, we didn't practice yesterday. We sat with the counselor yesterday, day before. I mean, we've been grieving, and you just went out there and you saw a lot of cramping up and stuff, just because we're just spent. Mentally, physically, these girls are spent, and these girls, they played amazing.
Coach, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you very much.
The goal scorers are to my right. First of all, tell me about how important it was to play from in front tonight. The first goal came kind of early, and it set a tone because you guys kept generating chances, and Marshfield couldn't.
Yeah, it really motivated our team. I'm glad I could take it in the final third and finish it and have the composure. I think it really motivated our team to continue and keep going.
How important was this to beat a team that kind of outplayed you earlier in the season?
I know that they haven't won a conference championship yet in defending us. Now I think we're in the lead, so I'm really proud of our team. We did it together.
I'm going to move to the other side to talk to Grace Sandquist for just a moment. Grace, first of all, is that serious or not really, or we don't know yet?
We don't know yet. We're on the verge of finding out.
We had said in the second half that some of the Everest starters were not in. Again, you had that 3-0 lead, and the last thing you want is someone to get dinged up before going to the playoffs, so we're hoping for the best. You were a presence. You got a lot of opportunities in the first half, and it looked like you were playing at a different speed.
Yeah, I think I struggled a lot in the first half, but then I really picked it up and I found my teammates. And finishing that goal was really important to me. And I think it really set a tone for the second half. Practice pressing as a team is super important. So I would say when we press as a team, we do phenomenally.
Obviously, this was a conference championship that was kind of up in the air until the very end. What does it mean to this team?
It's insane. A lot of people doubted us because we lost Jenna, and of course, losing your D1 player is going to be a big, her presence will be missed, obviously, but we really pulled together as a team, and we played together, and we worked super hard, in practice, and it feels amazing to do it for Emily and Danny as well.
Ladies, congratulations on the goals and the win and the conference championship. The Evergreens have defeated Marshfield to claim the Wisconsin Valley Conference title 3-0. All three of the goals coming in the first half and then a scoreless second half. That's going to wrap up our coverage at the DC Everest Soccer Complex. I'm Chris Conley. Thanks for joining us on Zaleski Sports. You guys know what to do here?
Yeah.
You can both say your names. You do it all at the same time, and then we're in the house, okay?
All right.
There we go. I'm going to step out.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm Grace Sandquist, and I'm in the house.
Ladies, congratulations. Thanks for coming over.